Schneider Electric Innovation Hub. The Innovation Hub is a technology experience zone located in our Avinya campus in Bangalore. Here we showcase our energy and automation technologies right from grid to plug and from shop floor to top enterprise automation. We are today bringing this Innovation Hub to you in a digital way. And over the next 30 minutes, our experts will give you an immersive experience of our futuristic, cutting-edge energy and automation solutions displayed at our Innovation Hub. So thank you for joining today, and I let you enjoy the show. Welcome to Schneider Electric Innovation Hub.
Thank you. Hello everyone, I'm Shweta Sharma and I lead the Innovation Hub for Schneider Electric India. Today I have a digital expert with us, Roshan Vardarajan, who is Director for Software Strategy for Schneider Electric India.
Hello everyone. Hello Shweta. Thank you for having me here.
So Roshan, I'm very excited to hear your views from digital transformation perspective in energy management. So let's start the tour.
Sure, I'm equally excited with you. Let's go ahead.
So what are we seeing today, Roshan, here? How do we start?
As you rightly said, Shweta, innovation goes in our DNA. And Bangalore is the epicenter of innovation for Schneider Electric in India. Hence, we call this campus as Avinya. Now, before I talk further on innovation, let's introduce to our audience, what do we do at Schneider Electric in India?
Sure. So a quick introduction of Schneider Electric in India for those who do not know us very well. So we are a technology company, energy technology company. We are heavily into electrification, automation, and digitization. And something which we are very proud of is the recognition we have got repeatedly as world's most sustainable company by Times and various other certifying bodies. And we are spread across 4 different markets, end markets rather, buildings, data center, industry and infrastructure. These 4 put together are responsible for 70% emissions globally. Statistics are not too different for India as well. And how do we do it? We use EcoStruxure as a platform. Now that's something which you will see while we take a tour. But from here, I think we will start the tour, Roshan.
Sure.
Yeah. So Roshan, I've been hearing and I have been reading everywhere that India will reach a milestone of achieving 50% of the total energy install base coming from green energy side by 2030, which is a big milestone in the journey of Viksit Bharat, right? So how are we ensuring as a technology provider that our electrical distribution or energy distribution is prepared for it?
Wonderful question, Shweta. So as we talk about energy is the backbone of development in our country. Today, when we talk about the energy availability in our country, it's predominantly dependent on the conventional sources of energy, the fossil fuels. What's important is how do we bring resilience and flexibility into the energy ecosystem. What if I could tell you that the grid is able to absorb the energy from the cleaner and the greener sources of energy till the last mile? That's the resilience which will help us build the energy ecosystem, the neural schema for the development of the country's infrastructure. That begins with developing the smart grids. We enable the grids to get more stable, resilient, and absorb green energy till the last mile. While this doesn't stop here, it also enables our customers in the last mile to produce and consume. A true journey from the grid to plug. Now, while we do this in the scale of digitization, I have a question to you as well, Shweta. The innovation doesn't stop at digitization alone. It also begins with the hardware. On an average, do you know what's the carbon emissions from a SF6-based MV switchgear?
So I think what I have read, it's around 1 kg of SF6 produces the emission almost equal to 22.5 thousand kgs of carbon dioxide. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah. On an average, each switchgear needs 3 to 6 kilograms of SF6. and our cutting edge technologies, the innovation at core, we have brought the groundbreaking innovation with the products made from free air technology without SF6. This significantly reduces the carbon emissions at the ground levels, enabling for the clean and future-ready digital infrastructure. While we talk about this, Shweta, what's also important for us to understand is how do we help our customers build a journey towards the complete powertrain.
Absolutely. So what are we having when we talk about grid to plug? And that's essentially what we mean by electrical distribution, right? We produce at the first point of distribution from medium voltage perspective is grid, and the final distribution where we actually consume the energy. So while we talk about this whole journey, what are those key points which we are ensuring, the challenges which we are addressing?
Glad you brought that question, Shweta. As I said, while we work around building a flexible and scalable grid infrastructure which can embrace renewable energy, it's also important how do we help our customers in seamlessly getting the electricity from the grid to the plug. This is where the seamless coordination between the switchgear is evident. While we ensure the switchgear is frequently connected, seamlessly connected, what's more important is how do we make sure the supply available is more reliable, efficient, and scalable. So let me tell you a story, Shweta. What if I tell you that beyond electricity, we bring 5 senses to our energy ecosystem?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's something to
So let's talk a bit more about it. Now, when we talk about 5 senses, why are these very important? While we talk about managing the electricity accurately and making sure the power is more reliable, it's also important to measure the affiliated attributes to ensure safety and high uptime. So the first sense what we bring into the electrical distribution train is the sense of visualization. Every electrical fault begins at an arc. What if we could detect the arc even before it produces a catapulting effect? The arc flash protection systems make sure we trip even faster than before the current goes into the non-safety threshold limits, enabling the breakers to trip and causing a higher downtime. This is where the sense of C comes into the picture. The second sense we talk about very commonly is the sense of touch. The electrical thermometer in your panels, the smallest thermometer, wireless in nature, which enables us to constantly and continuously measure the heat across the electrical distribution train. This enables to safely measure the health of the system, understand the problems, and take precautionary measures to make sure the system is high and delivering the results. While we talk about this, what's more important is most of our electrical distribution is also through cables. Yep. Insulation damages cause frequent problems. Even the home fires, what we talk about, begins as a simple spark in the insulation damages. That's where we bring the third sense of measurement, the sense of the nose. We call this the nose of the panel, which measures any smokes detected from the insulation of the wires in the cable alleys, making sure it's detected well in advance to prevent any catapulting effect in the ecosystem. While we enable these 3 senses, what's equally important is the sense of taste. This is where the DNA of our hardware gets better. The intelligence of measuring electricity more accurately comes in, and our devices are intuitive to talk to the human beings. What if I could tell you, you could use your mobile phone, scan it in front of the breaker, understand the true reason why the breaker has failed, take the right corrective action to prevent the catapulting effect. And the last sense is combining all these together to the digital platforms to get the view of the complete powertrain for seamless and reliable transmission of electricity.
So these are the 5 senses.
It doesn't stop here, Shweta. I'll interrupt. While we talk about this, what if I could tell you that the energy to the last mile at your homes is seamless in transition? The smallest device, the size of a sugar cube, is all it is required in your distribution boards to measure the energy needs and the impact at the last mile. This enables our customers truly transition from the grid to the plug for seamless, available, and efficient source of energy.
So that's like quite a good elaboration of grid to plug, seamless flow of energy from the first point of distribution till where we are consuming. That's like really interesting to know. But one question over here, if we have to put up a new facility, or rather if there is an existing large facility and large complicated facility, like sugar plant, or if we have a data center, how can we ensure end-to-end power system is being, designed and automated seamlessly?
Glad you brought that question, Shweta. Digitization begins at incubation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we talk about building the seamless system of electrical distribution, what's important is how do we design the electrical system, and the system what we have designed delivers the solution what we need. That's where our platforms enable us to design the platform, validate, verify its reliability, understand how capable is the system for scalability and the future needs, and when it's connected real time with our devices from the powertrain, you start to visualize how the system operates. So from design to operate, the complete neural schema, the DNA of power system built on a single platform, this leads to what we call the digital twin of the future.
So this is more of a digital twin, also called real-time digital twin.
Absolutely. So an enterprise platform across the life cycle, enabling us to get the valuable insights, helping us to build the designs to delivering what we have built it for in the real phase. A true journey of seamless digital transformation.
Very interesting, very interesting. That makes me believe that end-to-end digitization of the power automation or power system is very much possible.
Absolutely. Now, this has been our story from grid to plug and seamless transition of power for our customers, Shweta. I come back to you. We spoke about the first dimension of growth in our infrastructure. The second dimension, of course, is data.
Yes.
And data is incomplete if you don't talk about data centers. So, Shweta, I come back to you. What are we doing in the space of data centers? How are we enabling our customers to build data centers faster and ready for the needs of the AI loads coming in?
Yeah. So talking about data center, Roshan, when it comes to a critical environment like data center, or rather I would say data is so critical that even the server rooms are getting loaded today. And with AI coming into the picture, the AI load is creating a lot more heat, which brings in the second angle, or I would say second component, which is as important as energy. And the second component is cooling. So in data centers, specifically in a white space, there are two angles which we need to look at. One is the availability of the power. Seamless availability, we have a solution where we are talking about the power backup, critical power backup, starting from 6.6 kV till megawatt UPS, uninterrupted power supplies, which ensures the reliability, the seamless power supply to all these critical environments like data center. These are the innovations what Schneider brings in terms of the footprint. So the footprint is drastically reduced over here. We have it modular, in the modular form. We also have it with a very high efficiency rating of close to 99%. So that's more from the power side. Now, when it comes to the cooling side, we are into the cooling technology starting from the intro till the latest entry of the liquid cooling. Now, here what we have is a very interesting solution where we have repurposed the whole of the server rack to replace the server room. So this is where we have compacted, keeping footprint into mind, innovation in reducing the footprint. We have created a very customized offer where we are talking about power distribution getting into a rack along with the server, and the most interesting part is the cooling over here, which comes next to the rack itself. So you need not have a 8x8 or 10x10 server room anymore. You can just have this cabinet. Now, this is all from the server room till your maybe gigawatt data center. We cover complete portfolio of energy as well as cooling. Now, when it comes to non-critical buildings like a commercial building, what we also have is a complete range of HVAC automation, and that's where we are talking about building automation system. Now, this is where we are talking about the huge range of controllers. We have the sensing technology we bring in to ensure the connectivity 24/7. Now, we all must be knowing that energy, the largest energy guzzler in any non-residential building happens to be HVAC. So when we talk about efficiency, when we talk about sustainability, managing cooling becomes very, very important.
Absolutely, absolutely, Shweta. You've completely packaged it. All the three dimensions of cooling, the infrastructure, and the seamless electricity. I'm super excited. I would love to experiment putting a data center on my terrace. Yeah. Now, while we talk about all of this, Shweta, what's equally important is what have we done in our own infrastructure? Yeah.
Yeah. So what we have done here, which I will also spend like maybe 2 minutes onto it. What we have done here is we have connected all our critical buildings, all our important offices onto one platform. And that's where we are talking about integration and interoperability of different domains inside a building. Now, because we are standing in a building, because we are standing in Schneider Electric office, what better than this particular live example?
Absolutely.
Now this is what we call centralized command center of our own premises. What I'll quickly show you the way we have been monitoring our energy and well-being aspects over here. So very quickly, we have multiple offices here and we are looking into the well-being, energy, healthiness of the building and little bit on the critical assets, critical equipment of this particular building. Now, if I talk about Avinia campus where we are currently standing, we measure the wellness index of this particular building in terms of carbon dioxide, in terms of humidity, in terms of temperature. And that's what we do 24/7 on the real-time basis. And every time there is a fluctuation or we cross the threshold, immediately and instantly we get an alarm. Now, apart from that, we are also monitoring the energy part. Energy is something which is again divided into two parts. One is more from a very critical equipment consuming the energy. These are the equipment without which the building may not run at all. You know, like your chillers, your lifts, your big panels, transformers. So we measure 24/7 their healthiness as well as the energy consumption. Now, coming to how much we are actually consuming floor-wise, we do that as well. So we can go more granular into it, but right now I will just move on. Now, something very interesting to see here, that from a very broad perspective of how we are using energy, what is the wellness index of this building, we also go to a little more asset level where we are talking about integrating HVAC, power, lighting, fire alarm system, security system, CCTV into one platform. And very quickly, when we talk about HVAC, there are multiple subsystems to it. And we monitor, sitting in one place, we monitor all these subsystems seamlessly 24/7 from any location, right? We can actually go to the asset level also. So it's not only monitoring, it's also controlling at the asset level. I'm just showing you another asset, which is a very critical asset, AHU, an air handling unit. So this is again something which we can manage across our portfolio office at Schneider, sitting in one single location. Similarly, for power, for lighting, we can manage the lighting automation of any of our office at any floor, any domain, sitting in a centralized command center. We also have the security camera, live access, live feed of security, or live feed of the cameras can be seen from any place. And the most important thing, fire alarm. We know exactly where our fire sensors are placed, where our fire sonders are placed, where the panels are placed. And if there is an alarm, we don't have to run around. We know exactly which is the area where the problem has occurred. Yeah. So this is more of an integration of multiple domain onto the one platform. And that's what we are doing in this particular building.
Wonderful. A living example of how our solutions help our customers in the space of infrastructure.
Yes.
We call it the complete command center, helping us to manage the multiple KPIs of a building.
That's right. And so this is why this is very interesting, you know, when you are connecting all the different buildings. I also always think about this, that how are we ensuring, and that's something, Roshan, you have to tell us, how are we ensuring this benefit goes till the last mile? This is more for facility operations, etc. How does it go to the last mile? And also one more question is, what happens in a little older building or little older data center, how it is managed? How does old building get into this platform?
Glad you brought that question, Shweta. So while we make sure we are building the cutting edge technology, sustainability continues to be at our DNA. So we believe in last mile repair, and we also believe in reusing the existing resources. That's where we have enhanced our competencies in the space of services. When we talk about services, Shweta, we work along all the three dimensions. The first dimension is of modernization, where we don't have to replace the existing infrastructure. With our smart sensors, we bring them on board to digitization. The second element, what we also work around in modernization, is how do we help them to upgrade to our solutions without replacing everything in the infrastructure. Third would be a surprising element, Shweta, for sure. What's important is, what if I could tell you that your infrastructure could be completely unmanned? That's a possibility made by Schneider Electric. What if I could tell you that our people monitor your complete infrastructure through cloud 24/7, report to you on a predictive maintenance basis even before a breakdown, and make sure your infrastructure is high on uptime? So on all the three dimensions, we have been upskilling our service competencies to make sure we bring the infrastructure to the latest levels of our command centers.
Very interesting. And what about the last mile? How do we extend this benefit of digitization, true integration and interoperability to the final consumers?
Absolutely, Shweta. As we spoke about, we said the journey from grid to the plug. When we say the plug, it means the home. What if I could tell you the future of India's ecosystem of energy is going to be in the resilience of sharing electricity? Imagine the grid would start talking to the meters at your home, come back and tell you based on the availability of electricity of when there would be an outage, cut down the non-essential loads, still making sure there is uptime of electricity for all of us.
Wow, that's nice.
That's not a dream anymore. We've already been piloting with auto demand response management system. Beyond meter integration helps us to reduce the peak demands by 15% for our grids, ensuring high availability with the available source of energy across all our customers. While this has been a reality, I would come back to you, Shweta.
Yes.
We talk about home energy management as well. As a prominent user of Visor at home, tell me, how excited are your kids using the Visor applications and the platform at home? How does it help you?
Oh, in a very big way. Rather, I truly believe, and we were talking about this, like we say, charity starts at home. We believe sustainability also starts at home. And that's the reason why we are talking about Visor today. Now, when we talk about Visor automation, it's a home automation, but we have a more advanced version of Visor, which we call home energy management. So what you saw till now, what we spoke about till now, it was more for the corporates and for the different critical infrastructure. But what about home? How do we manage? Now, here we have Visor 2.0, home energy management, which gives you the complete insight of energy consumption at the room level. Not only that, this is AI-based tool, AI-based application, which will also tell you how your pattern has been. It tells you every Sunday, because all the family members are at home, my energy consumption is very high. And for my kids, I make sure that they look into it, and both my kids, they will compare the, who is consuming more in which week. So that gets a little interesting. It also integrates with the solar what we have in the house. So that is like very, very convenient for me. Now, Visor is something which is, we are talking about like, putting it in the house which is newly built. But we also have a solution when we talk about the older house. How do we get Visor and make our switches and socket communicate to the application in an old house? Do we need to replace the complete switches and make them smart? No. So we have the devices, relays, which will make all these switches, what you see over here, smart just by putting them behind the back box. So that's the overall solution what we have when it comes to home energy management. A beautiful integrated solution, equipping the individuals like you and me, to manage our energy.
Absolutely, Shweta. So it's not just about efficiency at homes. It's not just about digitization at homes. This is where we talk about the last mile connectivity from grid to plug, enabling our consumers to become prosumers, a multi-domain energy exchange ecosystem across the energy landscape. Now, while we talk about this part of grid to plug, Shweta, I also keep pondering about, this is often a question, I'm sure you're keeping asking this multiple times, is while we digitize more and more, we are also vulnerable.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
The more software means more threat to the data.
absolutely. Now, while we talk about the cyber threats, how do we make sure we are compliant to cybersecurity is equally important.
Absolutely. Yes.
Keep the
So
questions sparked, Shweta. I know where
Okay.
you're getting excited too. But what if I tell you, on an average, we take 60 days to detect a cyber fault in an industry? Yes, 60 days.
60 days.
Now, how do we make sure we build the cyber technology for the future, embracing digitization and digitally securing our infrastructure from these cyber threats? We'll talk a bit more about it.
So now, okay, so cybersecurity is certainly a very, very important topic. But tell me, before we get into that, tell me, how are we managing, automation part when it comes to data-heavy industries, where we say shop floor to top floor, Grid to plug is fine, we understood very well how it is digitally getting transformed. But what about shop floor to top floor?
Glad you brought the automation story here, Shweta. So when we talk about shop floor to top floor, as you rightly mentioned, it begins with the automation right at the machine scale. We enable in building precision into machining with flexibility. What if I could tell you that the machines are agile and flexible to pre-program to the latest needs of our manufacturing setup? While we enable in building precision with lighter architectures as we see on the board, what's as well important is how do we help humans collaborate with the machinery on the shop floor. Our collaborative robots with the precision machines help us build the manufacturing setup of the future.
Very interesting.
It doesn't stop at this. While we talk about automation, it begins from the shop floor, and it's an amalgamation of multiple machines working together synchronously for an efficient plant and production. From an organization which produced the first modular digital controller, any guesses what that, Shweta, is?
Modicon?
Absolutely. Modicon, our platform of solutions, the programmable logic controllers, we've also been enhancing our capabilities in the automation space. Right from end-to-end traceability to batch manufacturing capabilities for the consumable durables to building the open automation of future. Now, I'm sure we might be curious to understand what's open automation. Often in industries, we are constrained on expansions considering the limitations of the availability in space of the controller logics. This is where brownfield expansions are often bundered, and then we end up investing more on the infrastructure. So that's where Schneider's groundbreaking innovation comes in. Our software-defined automation, open architectures, enable us to integrate all the existing platforms agnostically and scale it to the future needs of productions. Our open architectures enable our customers to scale to the future needs by working on the existing hardware systems, making it agnostic and to the future-ready demands. While we do this in the open automation scale, we also enhance the competencies to bring in and sharpen our expertise at the application scale. So it doesn't stop at a machine, it goes from open automation to expertise on a particular application where we could bring in overall operating efficiency for our customers.
Very, very interesting and sounds so exciting. Now tell me this, while we are talking about machine to system, there is a larger enterprise level also, and I'm sure many of our enterprise customers, they have a challenge in, they have silos in their own system. They want a kind of a centralized system where they can monitor critical facilities at the, at the asset level. So what about that platform?
Absolutely, Shweta. What we talked through this journey was the application from grid to plug, shop floor to top floor. But a CEO's card doesn't stop at energy or automation. It's at an enterprise scale. Now, what if I tell you we could monitor the sites across geographies and the performance at an organization scale unified here? Please remember, digitization is not by silos, it's by unifying to one data lake, mining the valuable insights to understand the performance at an organization scale. Our Unified Operations Center platform enables us to monitor multidimensional KPI across the organization seamlessly across elements right from maintenance to finance to operations to execution to the last mile of delivery, including the elements of energy and automation. Be it a smart infrastructure to a smart city, be it a data center to a smart industry, across these unified platforms help us build one data lake of digitization, enabling us to reap the benefits of AI and technology across to get the organizational performance. Now, while we talk about the digitization at an enterprise scale, Shweta, I did park your question on cybersecurity.
Yes.
Now, I come back to cybersecurity. As I told you, we take approximately 60 days to detect a cyber fault. And where do we at Schneider Electric collaborate with our customers is in building the latest standard compliant architectures, hardening our solutions, and making them more secured to the vulnerabilities of cyber attacks. Not just that, cybersecurity to the next level, what if we could tell you that in 15 minutes, we will be able to detect a cyber fault by continuously monitoring your system and come back and tell you how do you prevent these faults in the future. Yeah? So cybersecurity does not stop at just solutions, but we're taking it multidimensional to make sure we are delivering a resilient and a scalable digital ecosystem secured for the tomorrow.
Very well put up, Roshan. So cybersecurity is something which cuts across the three layers of EcoStruxure, what we keep talking about, right? So I think we have covered very, very comprehensively the complete solution portfolio of Schneider Electric from energy management side as well as from industrial automation side. And let's see if we have some questions.
Yes.
Let me just quickly get into the questions.
Now, while we look into the questions, Shweta, I would like to go back to our audience here that this is just the tip of the iceberg. We are trying to share our experiences of how we enable our customers to embrace digitization for building the cutting-edge technologies and a sustainable future. Please do visit us in the Avinia campus. We are happy to host you, discuss in detail about each and every solution to see how can we collaborate to build better technologies for the future.
Yes. So I have this question, very interesting question, because I have a similar one, so I'll better speak about this. So there is a question which says, do you have any tool which can help follow ECBC or Indian Green Building Code or the carbon market for carbon emissions, to measure carbon emissions?
Wonderful. Glad they brought this question. As we mentioned before, sustainability is in our DNA. Yep. Our platforms like Resource Advisor help us measure and monitor our carbon emissions across the dimensions. It's not just from the electrical front, even across the resources scale, the emissions and the carbon footprint calculations are possible on our Resource Advisor platform.
And there is one very interesting question, Roshan. I think we didn't speak about this, but we have a question on it. It's about the building construction software. So building construction software, BIM model, can we integrate it or do we have any solution around it?
Glad they brought this up question up. I really appreciate bringing this topic.
Yeah, I was happy seeing this.
There's a surprising fact which comes around this, Shweta. What if I tell you, every time we build our homes, we often end up restructuring for our interiors. So there's an estimate which says 30% of the emissions of a building happens only because of restructuring in our constructions. Mm-hmm. So not stopping at the third dimension of BIM, what if I tell you, let's bring an 8-dimensional approach into the construction phase? Yeah, that's a possibility. With the 3 dimensions of the binary integrated building information management system, what if we could integrate the elements of cost, time, project management, the energy and the digital needs, all integrated into a single platform, one integrated digital twin, which helps us build the complete elements of the building, also considering the elements required at the phase of costing to make sure the overall construction phase is efficient. We do have those platforms which are cloud enabled. Mm-hmm. Happy to discuss further on this.
Very nice. There is another question, and I relate to this question because I had this doubt in, while I was learning about Schneider Electric complete digital portfolio. So this question is more from, design software. How is Schneider Electric ensuring that design software is integrated with the SCADA systems?
Glad they brought this question. As I mentioned before, digitization and silos are always not successful.
Yeah.
So what's important is how do we transition seamlessly from what I've designed to have it delivered what I've designed. Our platforms on the energy automation side help us integrate the single line diagram back into the real time, helping us identify the anomalies, the differentiation between what was considered during design to what has actually been built, and also helping us identify the parameters at real time. So the transition is seamless with the same power system modeling moving across the platform.
Okay, something very similar. How is adoption of digital twin in Schneider Electric ecosystem? I think we covered the whole story around it, but then how do you
Glad they bring it
summarize?
up.
Yeah, how do you summarize this?
So as we speak, Shweta, I think we did talk about what we implement in our own kitchens. So when we go back to our factories, glad to also mention here that our Hyderabad factory is being recognized by World Economic Forum as a sustainable lighthouse.
Right.
This is not just about embracing the practices of sustainability, but it's also about digitization, which is ensuring our efficiency is very high. How do we achieve this? Is by building one integrated digital twin. So across our facilities, we do embrace our own technologies to build it. We are happy to host you in your factories to demonstrate how this helps us build the factories for the future-ready solutions.
Perfect. Is digital twin possible at the grid level? I think did you cover that?
Absolutely.
ADM?
Yes.
Yeah.
So when we talk about smart grids, what's also important is how do we measure the neural schema? As I mentioned before, the grid infrastructure is like the neural schema of a human body, connecting to the last mile, especially for a geography which is widespread out like India. And when we are looking to build the India energy stack, connecting it as one nation, one asset, one grid, what's important is we have the last mile connectivity.
Yep.
And unless we have built a digital twin which is mapped physically to the geography, this efficiency is not possible. So our smart grid solutions enable our customers to connect to the last mile and build the network facility to understand the insights and get more information about the digital grids.
Thank you, Roshan. I think we have few more questions, but we are top of the hour. We have taken 2 minutes extra. So yes, so we conclude now?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So keep up your curiosity, friends. Happy to host you back at the Schneider Electric Avinia campus. Should you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our colleagues, and we would love to host you back in our facilities to discuss further. Yes, Shweta.
Thank you, everyone, and look forward to host you physically in our Innovation Hub. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.